Hey guys, thanks for watching my monthly unboxing of BattlBox. So this month is themed Bushcraft, with the kind of the philosophy being gathering. And you guys are going to see that box here real quickly, but I wanted to kind of highlight that last month what the theme on that was everyday carry, and I was just simply, due to time constraints and being out of town, I was not able to make a full-up video on that. But if you guys are interested in learning more about BattlBox, I'll put a link in the description box down below. But yeah, I did like last month's theme, everyday carry box, including the knife and the flashlight that came with it. This month's box was actually a little bit better, so I was excited to see that they had a total of 3 knives in this month's BattlBox. So let me just break down what was inside. So the first thing that I came across was a waxed canvas rugged twill log carrier, which is a very long way of saying it is just a way of carrying logs. It is made out of waxed canvas, so it's kind of got a rugged, I guess a bushcrafty feel to it. And it's got handles, so you can just, as you're gathering firewood, you just place it in this log carrier, and you can walk back to your campsite after you're done gathering or processing that wood. The next item that's inside this, it kind of goes along with that same theme. It's a Lord and Field canvas trail bag, and the way that this works is that, at least the way that I've seen this work, is you can take this bag and loop it around your belt, and throughout the day, as you're kind of preparing your campsite or doing whatever, you can gather the tinder materials that you're seeing as you're walking around, such as twigs and dry leaves and other dry flammable materials, and you just kind of keep that in that trail bag. And then by the end of the day, whenever you're setting up your fire, you have all that tinder, and then combine that with that log carrier, and you got yourself a stew.
Whoa! There's still plenty of meat on that bone. Now you take this home, throw it in a pot, add some broth, a potato, baby, you got a stew going.
All right, moving on to the next item that was inside this. I wasn't super excited to see some of these items, kind of like every month, but the chaga chunks, it's kind of an edible, and I understand that this is it's the Bushcraft box, and gathering is the main philosophy behind it. But I'm probably not going to try a lot of these items that were edibles. But I understand that the philosophy is sort of like, if you guys are going to be outside, and if you guys are going to be more or less foraging for food, might as well develop that palate now. All right, and then after that, came across some flavored crickets, and these are the salt and vinegar variety. So probably not going to be enjoying too many of them, but that is one of the items that was inside this box. Next up, we have our first of those 3 knives. This is also from Lord and Field. This is a Farmhand knife, and this basically looks like a kind of a pruning knife, and it has a backlock design similar to that buck knife that I have to the left of the box. And yeah, I like that design, and it seemed to be a relatively decent knife with not too much blade play, and the centering on it was actually really decent. So there is that. Another thing that was inside this box was the Edible Wilderness playing cards. There's also flavored crickets as well, or I should say larvettes, sorry. These were flavored larvettes. And then we also have the Wazoo Foraging bandana, and I really liked this item specifically because all that knowledge and things that you are going to want to know while you're in the woods, you can have that literally being worn on you. You can take that bandana off, look at some of the information on here, and then potentially utilize that to your advantage. So I do need to brush up on my knowledge about edible plants, and having a bandana on me that already has an information on it, or at least some of the information that you need to know for edible plants, I think is a really cool thing. And I got really excited because bandanas are good things to have whenever you're out in the great outdoors anyways, because it has a lot of survival purposes anyways. And then moving on to the Complete Guide to Edible Plants book. A lot of people get really upset when they see books in something that's more or less a survival kit, but this one does have pictures and it has a lot of good information, such as not only things to eat but also things to avoid because they're poisonous or whatnot. Another thing it had in here was the Mora 511 knife, or 511 knife, however you want to call it. It has no connection to 511 Tactical, but I do like this knife. I have several of them in different colors, and it's a great secondary blade to have on you. It's the perfect beater knife. MSRP is $9.99, so that should tell you guys that if you have this knife, you guys put this through the ringer when you're outdoors, and then just replace it as needed, and kind of continue along using this knife as the tool that it was intended to be. Moving on to the knife of the month, this was the Crudman Knives MT5U, and this has micarta handle scales. It also has kind of a red liners lining that those handle scales, and the blade steel on this was N695 Bowler steel, and it had a leather sheath that was made in Spain. So I thought that I've never seen this knife before, but I thought it was actually a pretty nice knife, and it felt good in hand. Only experience with the knife will be able to tell how useful it is. I also noticed that the jimping on the blade, on the spine of the blade, was actually really aggressive, so that can be a good thing as you're using this knife for a short period of time. But if you're going to keep your thumb or whatnot on that spine and on that jimping over a long period of time, it eventually will probably hurt your skin. So just kind of keep that in mind. But it is full tang, and it looks like it has a versatile sheath that comes with it, so it's probably a pretty decent knife to have in a worst case scenario, at least from what I can tell. But anyways, guys, that is this month's BattlBox. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys want more information, be sure to check out that description box. Y'all stay safe out there, and remember, it pays to be prepared. God bless.